everyone who is watching. My name is Hajni Hos, Executive Director at Hospice Peterborough. I am welcoming you from my home at Rossland Farms. Thank you for being a part of this ceremony taking place in Nogojivanong, the place at the foot of the rapids. We acknowledge that this place is the land and territory of the Anishinaabe people. We gather with gratitude to our Mississauga neighbors. We say Magwech to thank them and other Aboriginal peoples for taking care of this land from time immemorial and for sharing this land with those of us who are newcomers. Out of that gratitude, we are called to treat the land, its plants, animals, stories, and its peoples with honor and respect. Welcome to Hike for Hospice, Hike Your Way. Anywhere, anytime. While we aren't able to be together again quite yet, we hope you are enjoying the flexibility of being able to join us from anywhere for your hike. Although physically apart, we hope these opening ceremonies give you a feeling of connectedness to other hikers across Peterborough and beyond, and to the person or people you are honoring and remembering through Hike for Hospice. We would like to welcome Ann Taylor from Curve Lake to open the hike with an acknowledgement of opening remarks.
Bewena bojo anin mang kwandishnikas negegeni dodem shkigamang tonjaba Mississauga Anishinaabe kwandao. Hello, my English name is Ann Taylor. My Anishinaabe name, my spirit name is Mongkwan, which translates to loon feather. I'm from Curve Lake First Nation, and I'm of the Otter clan, and I am a Mississauga Anishinaabe woman. I'm going to talk a little bit about land acknowledgement and what that means. Oftentimes we mention treaties in this area. The two in particular are the Williams Treaties, which was signed in 1923, and that treaty specifically established the relationship between settlers and First Nations in the area in terms of where settlement could occur and how land could be shared and used together. The other treaty is Treaty 20, which establishes into Canadian law our Anishinaabe inherent right to hunt, fish, trap, and gather in a specific area. And that one was signed in 1818, and it was between the nation of Great Britain and the Anishinaabe Nation. So it was a nation-to-nation treaty. Some of the things that don't get mentioned in land acknowledgements are the spiritual values that we as Anishinaabe place on the land and water and air. When we're on the land, whatever we're doing, whether we're gathering or hunting or whether we're just there to visit, we always offer something in thanks or to give back, and that is usually tobacco. We call that a sama, and it's just a little bit of a sama offered to the land to give thanks for all of the blessings that the land gives us. Our homes, our clothing, our food, our shelter, our health, our medicines, everything comes from the land. So we need to acknowledge the spirits of that land that provide that for us. Another one is the water. When we go in our canoes or when we go in our boats, whether we're fishing or whether we're out just for a recreational boat ride, we offer tobacco again to that water for safe passage and for to say thank you for the blessings that the water gives us, because that is our lifeblood. Without water, we wouldn't exist. So that it's necessary for us to honor the spirit of that water and give thanks for that. And it's the same thing with the air. We always give blessings to the air because that's what we breathe in. We're required to breathe, so we have to take care of the spirits of that air as well. And I mention those spirits because those are a part of our spiritual journey as Anishinaabe and as people. It's not specific to Anishinaabe. it's for everybody to make use of. And when I'm talking about land acknowledgements, one of the things I like to mention is that, you know, we wake up in the morning and the first thing we do is we turn on the tap, whether it's to wash our face or brush our teeth or have a shower or make our coffee. But we never think about that water. We never give thanks to that water. But we need to start doing that. We need to give thanks to that water for everything it brings to us. And it's the same with the food we put on the table, the food we provide for our families. We need to give thanks for that because the land provides that for us. The medicines in our medicine chest, that medicine is often given to us by the land. And so we need to acknowledge that and give thanks to that. Our very being comes from the land. As Anishinaabe, our language comes from the land. And so a lot of our language that we speak makes reference to Ake, and that's what we call this land, Ake. Representing that spiritual nature, Ke meaning the land itself. So when we do a land acknowledgement, we mention that Ake, and how important that is to our very existence. So I hope that I have left you with something to think about, and I hope that you will use the information I've given you and do your own land acknowledgement. And when you are in a space where a land acknowledgement is being given, please think of those things. Think of the water, think of the land, think of the air, think of the spirits that reside there, and think of how we can create this place to be a better place for those that are yet to come. Because one of our great teachings is that everything we say and do has repercussions for 7 generations. So if we keep that in the front of our minds, we can't help but be better people if we're thinking about those generations to come and how we want this place to be for them. So miigwech for allowing me to speak with you, and miigwech for taking care of the land and the water, and miigwech for being a good settler ally for us, and enjoy your journey. Miigwech.
Thank you, Anne, so much. COVID-19 has made everything different. Grief is different. Saying goodbye is different. Even after more than a year into the pandemic, we are still barraged with change. It is exhausting and hard. We hope today's ceremony will help you forget about these hardships for a moment and focus on the memories of the person you are honoring today. While life goes on, so does death, and we continue to be there for those who are facing end of life, grief, and bereavement. We are able to continue our work because of you, because you believe in and support our work. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of Hike for Hospice at this difficult time when doing anything feels like such an extra effort. We couldn't do it without you. Your help makes our care possible. On that note, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors who, despite a turbulent economic landscape, continue to support hospice palliative care. Westmount Pharmacy, LLF, Karen Just Q, Century 21, Classic Construction, Merit Precision, Palliative Care Doctors, Volkswagen Peterborough Clinic, Nuttall and Associates, Living Well, Medigas, Kawarta Orthodontics, Takasi Ranch, the Stewart Foundation, Monaghan Lumber, Scotiabank, Trent Security Systems, Bruce Maley Plumbing, Nightingale Nursing, Anden Kitchen and Bath, the Diversified Communications, Savino HR, and media sponsors Pure Country 105 and Move 99.7. I would also like to acknowledge our Hike for Hospice Committee volunteers, co-chairs Melly Blair and Dr. Becca Webster, past chair Dr. Heather Drysdale, Michelle Kavanagh, Michelle Chalmers, Diane Topping, Kathy Kaiser, Laura Blair, and Lynn Borland. And now I would like to introduce Julie Brown, Supportive Care Counselor at Hospice Peterborough, who will lead us through the opening ceremonies.
Hi, I'm Julie Brown. I'm one of the Supportive Care Counselors at Hospice Peterborough. Welcome to our annual hike for hospice. I'm standing at this beautiful, iconic bridge here in Jackson Park, a place that we chose for a reason because it just feels really appropriate in terms of what this hike is all about. Because what is a bridge? A bridge is something that connects one part of our journey to the other. And when I think about it in terms of what we do at hospice, it's often the bridge is moving us from that one place in our life where life as we knew it to now life as it is, whatever that means, whether that's the death and the grieving of a loved one or the diagnosis of a threatening illness or caring for someone with a threatening illness. So these bridges are bridges that we have to cross whether we want to or not. Sometimes we see these bridges coming off in the distance, sometimes we don't, and yet we have to cross them anyways. And somewhere along the way we find the strength to keep walking. Sometimes we find that strength to keep walking because our family and friends walk with us, beside us, carry us. Sometimes that's because we're part of a caring community of which Hospice Peterborough can be about with you to help you continue that journey. And so as you embark on your own personal hike for hospice, could I just offer a few thoughts? If you're grieving for the loss of a loved one, can you take some time on this hike to honor them, but to also honor you and your grief? Grief needs space. It needs to be witnessed. It's not something that we can rush or ignore or just push through. So give it space. Give it a place in this walk. If you are someone that's living with a life-threatening illness or caring for someone, you are also dealing with loss. So let's also honor your loss, and let's also honor your strength as you continue to keep walking your journey. And lastly, I'd also like just to say, as we're walking, let's look up and around. Let's look up at the blue sky. Let's look at the clouds in the sky. The clouds remind us that all things change. The clouds keep moving and all things change. Let's watch and see the wind moving through the trees, hear the birds, and think and remember and see the people who are with us, both accompanying us or the ones that we just carry with us. And lastly, can we just allow ourselves to be just as we are, to be just as we are on this hike, whatever that means, both within us and around us. Blessings.